Hi guys and girls, I'm Karel Seegers. Welcome to the Story Department on YouTube. Last week I was in Wellington, New Zealand, and I posted a video that was perfect clickbait. I warned you not to waste your time on story structure because there ain't no such thing. So what do you have instead? Well, you have individual character journeys, and I'm going to show you with an example from the movie Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, how that really works. Now, why is this so important? Because most of the screenplays and concepts that beginning screenwriters come up with fail in one or more of three key issues. First of all, poor concept. Secondly, problematic point of view. And thirdly, a passive protagonist. And the approach that I'm teaching you here is the perfect tool to diagnose and remedy this. So we're going to look at character to establish point of view. We're going to look at events. These are the catalysts. And then the actions in response to these events. Now, this sounds like a very theoretical approach, but it is essential that you really boil down your story to these bare essentials. And from there, you can identify issues. So, as I said, we're going to look at Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And we're going to ask some questions such as whose point of view are we in? What's the event? What's the action? And how does this affect the story? Easiest to do is really first look at that opening scene from Three Billboards in which we meet the main character, and that's Mildred. Let's have a look. So here we go. This is the first time we meet Mildred as she's driving along the road where these billboards are placed. Now, we don't know what drives her yet. It's the first time we meet with her. All we see is there's something about these billboards. She slows down, she looks at them. And then she ponders them. So there's something about these boards. Films are open with mystery, often, and that's good. But you don't keep that mystery for too long, and you'll see that in the next scene it'll be resolved. In the next scene we learn why she's looking at these billboards this way. And then in another scene that follows, 2 scenes from now, we'll see Deputy Dixon, and that's when we understand what drives her, what she wants to do with these billboards. So this is the event. Something happens to her. It's beyond her control. She realizes the potential of these billboards. She looks at the sign, Ebbing Advertising Agency, and she's going to go to that office now. And the action that she takes is a response to this event in which she has this realization. So there we go. We go to the agency, and Frances McDormand, who won an Oscar for her role, plays a character who is very determined. This is a woman with purpose. Nothing is holding her back. Nothing is going to stop her. And that's immediately clear from this first scene. And I think that's a very important trait for any cinematic character. So ask yourself, is your character equally purposeful, driven, and full of willpower?
You read Welby?
Yes, ma'am. How may I help you?
I hear there's 3 billboards out on Drinkwater Road. You're in charge of renting them out there, right?
I didn't know we had any billboards out on Drinkwater Road. Where is Drinkwater Road?
There's a road out past Sizemore Turn.
So there she's booking the billboards, and then we're going to the next scene. This is Deputy Dixon. This is his event. He's going to be Mildred's antagonist, but at the same time he's also the movie's hero in the sense that he undergoes the greatest change. He's the character who will learn and grow more than any other character in this movie. And look at the contrast. We had day, this is night. But both respond strongly to these billboards.
Hey,
and now the
Hey.
mystery is slowly resolved.
How come Chief Willoughby what?
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
How come what? What?
What?
Great scene. And then we go back to Mildred, and then the two are pitted against one another. So whose POV are we in? The first scene obviously was Mildred's POV. There's a bit of mystery. We see something happens to her. I wouldn't say it transforms her immediately, but gives her an idea. Then she goes and performs the first important action in this movie. And that's the action that will trigger the story. And that action then becomes an event to the character of Deputy Dixon. So he sees these billboards, and that will trigger his action, which will be to try and take these billboards down. Now, what I find ironic is you can see some parallels between this movie and, believe it or not, but Jaws. And see if you can figure that out. And if you can, put it in the comments down below. So, third question, how does it affect the story? So, the event that Mildred experiences leads to her action, and that action then becomes the inciting incident for the story. And that's conversely also the event that happens to Dixon. Okay, the reason why we pull this apart this way is we have two characters, each with their own event and action. So we don't speak about the structure of the story of Three Billboards. We talk about the structure of each character's journey. Okay, and they affect one another. And we see that each have an event, they're both on screen, and they each also have a clear and powerful action in response. So these are not non-events. If nothing had happened after these two events, I would have called them non-events. So, to summarize here, Mildred's event would be the realization of the potential with the billboards as she drives past. Dixon's event is seeing the billboards, and it affects him. Why does it affect him? Because he knows this is trouble, and not the kind of trouble that he likes. He looks up to Chief Willoughby, and he wants to protect Chief Willoughby, and less than anything does he want to go and investigate this case, because people may be involved that he would like to protect. At least that's what we understand in the beginning of the film. Now you'll see that for a while Dixon tries to take these billboards down, but as he transforms, that's after the midpoint. At the midpoint, something very important happens, and it causes a reversal, because Dixon will learn something. As a result of that, his behavior is going to change, and he will do as you would expect in any transformational story. His actions will do what, from a moral perspective, you would want this character to do. So these are the events. So what are the actions? Mildred's action is to rent the billboards and put the signs up, and Dixon's action is to try and take them down. And that's enough to have a movie, because the values that are opposed here are so strong. Good, so I hope that helps you, and now we're going to immediately apply that to the review of a logline. And this is a logline that was posted to me, or sent to me by Deborah, and it came through a webinar. I did a webinar on loglines, and Deborah posted this one, and we weren't able to solve it or review during the webinar. So let's have a quick look at this logline now. A small-time boxer has to prove that he is the best in the World Heavyweight Championship when a scheduled opponent gets injured. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a character, we're looking for an event and an action. Now, I am aware that to have a good concept, you need a whole lot of other things. You need stakes. You may need an antagonist. It needs to be interesting. But first and foremost, structurally, you need to have a character, a clearly defined character, something happening to that character, and then a character responding to that. So let's have a look. The small-time boxer is the character. See how there's not immediately any psychological qualification. We don't know about any strengths or weaknesses. He has to prove that he's the best in the World Heavyweight Championship when a scheduled opponent gets injured. So the event would be when a scheduled opponent gets injured. A small-time boxer must prove that he's the best in the World Heavyweight Championship. So I would move that around, not only because that's the formula I recommend, but also because logically the catalyst predates the action. So first you have the catalytic event, and then you have the action that follows that. So when a scheduled opponent gets injured, a small-time boxer must prove that he's the best in the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, my review of this logline would be that structurally it's okay. We don't have much about the character. I wouldn't say the character is particularly interesting. And secondly, that's what boxers do. They try to prove themselves the best. So I don't see this as a particularly cinematic given. I would like to see circumstances creating greater stakes. And obviously everybody thinks Rocky was successful. But why was Rocky successful? Because there was a whole lot more. And, it was really about Rocky's inner journey. If you think about it, if you were to watch Rocky again today, it would come across as an art house movie more than an action movie, although there is a lot of action there. But I hope that this helps in terms of addressing issues with loglines. If you want more, go to logline.it, logline it, and there are over 5,000 loglines to look at, and then you can read the reviews to understand what needed to improve. And you can also post your own. So you can post your logline on Logline it, have it reviewed for free, provided you also review 1 or 2 loglines by other people posting on the site. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, or better even, subscribe to the channel. And I hope to be back quicker than last time. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.